I think that is all I have to cover. Let's see. This week, one of the things I'm having you do is because there's so many e-reserve readings and you have 2 chapters to read in the book, is I'd like you each to choose one reading and then kind of report on it in the discussion. And I think that will be nice. I'm hoping that we'll pick all different ones, although if we miss one, that's okay. But the 4 readings, the first is in diversity training, for those of you who have some interest in that. The second one is in culture and religion and peace building, so intercultural training for peace building amongst intercultural climates and interreligious groups and scenarios. The third one is in welfare work that I think might be of interest to a couple of you. And then the last one is in healthcare, which I think is a whole world of intercultural training need that is largely untapped. Even now, I think medical schools and health training schools and institutions are doing a better job of intercultural training, but a lot of them still miss it, still don't have sufficient intercultural training for doctors and nurses and other healthcare professionals. And it can be especially concerning. There's a story or a book written about, it's called The Spirit Catches You When You Fall Down, that explains a scenario where a woman or a child was taken to the doctor and she was having seizures. I think she had epilepsy. But the family saw this as a gift. They thought she would be like the equivalent of a shaman. And they didn't necessarily want to cure this. They looked at it as positive. They were concerned about the health of their child, and they took her to a shaman first of all, who did whatever medical practices and rituals that they did in their own culture. And I apologize that I don't remember the culture. But then they took her to the doctor too, and they gave her pills and prescriptions to stop her seizures, but they wouldn't give her the parents wouldn't give her the pills because they still saw the seizures as a gift, as a religious strength, and so it's one of those things where in the medical profession, if you're not working with a group from a different culture to understand sort of cultural restrictions, what's possible, what's not, what's valued, what's not. It doesn't matter what prescriptions or procedures you suggest or apply, because you're not getting at the root of what their concern is. And it also marginalizes other cultures, like non-Western U.S. medical cultures. It marginalizes them and says, this is not valid. Science, the United States, objectivity, the way our system is set up is valuable, and other ones are not. They don't really make a lot of sense. They're based on voodoo and magic and all these sorts of things. And we stop looking at medicine and our healthcare culture as a culture. We start thinking this is just science. There's no culture around it. There's no opinion around it. This is just fact, and everything else is not fact and made up and dangerous and those sorts of things. And we'll get more into that. I didn't mean to go on a tangent, but just to give you a sense of, I think the healthcare industry, for those of you who have any interest, has a whole lot of need around intercultural training. Although it's still a heck of a lot of work, because a lot of them don't understand that intercultural training is important for healthcare professionals. But I think they're moving in that direction, so it may be an attractive career option or interest for some of you. So I just throw that out there to get you thinking, and you may want to read that healthcare e-reserve option if you'd like. So that is it for our lecture for this week. I'm looking forward to our continued discussions and your continued critical thoughts and critical looks at things. One thing you'll notice is that I am mostly staying out of our discussions during the week. I'm doing that intentionally. I stay out of them because I tend to be hyper responsive. So if I let myself, I would have a hard time stopping. I would respond to a lot of what you were saying. And one thing I've noticed in the past is when I do that, other students aren't able to say anything because I'm responding to everything. So generally I will stay out and let all of you kind of build the discussion. I will jump in if I see something that I want to add, or if I want to move a discussion in a particular area to get further towards our learning outcome for that week. Or if I see something of concern that I just want to jump in and kind of straighten out before we go down a path that we don't necessarily want to go down, or something that we just sort of want to manage in place. But otherwise, I'll stay out of the discussions for the most part. I am reading all of them and all of your posts. I usually check things every other day at least. And I will be responding to you and my reflection responses at the end of each week. So you will know what I'm thinking. You will know how I'm seeing all of the discussion. I just won't get involved during the discussion, usually, to create that space for all of you to learn from each other that way. So let's have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you all online.